That's how I real nigga play. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Remember screaming, fuck school, just trying to chase a little bread. First that boy dropped out of college, then he caught him a bit. He ran off with this and that shit, that's what so-and-so said. He gon' surge
nigga. I ain't finna wait no time. Let go. Hey, I can't keep listening to dude. I heard you shadow ban my nigga cause you out this bitch faking views. You broke as fuck in this bitch, probably dropped out of school. Now you on this bitch tryna go viral off faking news. He do this shit for clout, that's why he got Tariq and shit in his videos. These niggas ain't even big enough, that's why I drop subliminals. These niggas ain't even big enough, that's why I draw subliminals. You just a pseudo-coon. Hey, most of these niggas broken and illiterate, they can't even read the room. He say the Vikings black, my niggas sound like a damn fool. Everything you got came from a white man, that BYU. You just a Jehovah's Witness and Mormonite. He think that he a Jacobite, but this nigga think he a Lamanite. Your skin black, nigga, they think you living with the curses. You always lying, you ain't monetized, nigga, you ain't got no purpose. I'm laughing out loud, nigga, you like a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. They got a mask on. You quote niggas in your source like that's a big foundation. It's pseudo watch your mouth, nigga, and it's full of self-hatred. Again, you 12 hours straight, no citation. I ain't arguing with this nigga ain't got no translation. He saying copper color, but he penny pinching broke. All your sources that you quote me straight Reddit posts. You panel hopping all night, I ain't arguing with no joke. Flat earth logic, these niggas ain't even Bill Nye pseudo. Say you sorry, nigga, but you ain't, nigga, fuck that. Nigga citing Jake, nigga, hey, he citing Frank Joseph, nigga, like that's the history. Talking about Egypt was in America, nigga, that ain't no mystery. Bitch, you sound dumb as fuck. What you talking about, Memphis?
Well, you know that ain't a lot of cities out there.
What you talking about, Cairo, Illinois?
I'm just saying, we got a lot of cities out here that's named after that stuff, bro.
Dummy. Nigga be all this dumbass shit ain't even been across the country. Nigga, I don't give a fuck about shit when you ain't getting no money. Nigga lucky the beat cut off. I'd have kept fucking going on his ass, nigga, all off the top. Hey, listen, bro. Put your best in the motherfucking booth. Okay, I'm recording this shit off the fucking phone. I'm not even trying on you, nigga. Put your best, and I'll come out that bit, get in the booth for real, and I'll smoke one of y'all ass, man. Stop playing. Let me like my shit. Yeah. Come here. He be wasting time online. Niggas don't even want to check the case. I don't give a fuck about what you say. These niggas broke on Session 8. How the fuck you online all day? Nigga push up trying to get to the facts. These niggas trying to cap. I don't give a fuck about what you said. Nigga, you need to adapt. Damn, Obi. Better bring a fucking source. Hey. Call them cheap gossip boy, these niggas online with no trial ties. Say you Indian, then take a DNA test, you know it don't lie. You panel hopping all day long, you out this bitch just trying to chase the views. You faking debates, you ducking the smoke, we can't even fuck with you. Every chat room full of the bots, my nigga, we know that's just a dead crowd. How you claiming you revolution, but you just broke and loud. Sean P waiting for debate, but you scared out this bitch to address the facts. This ain't no movement, nigga, I'm trying to tell you this just a Reddit thread at best. Hey, 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 it's just a Reddit thread at best. Hey, come here. You faking views, you faking proof, you faking tribes, you faking facts. I can't fuck with none of that shit you said, my nigga, it's all cap. Every stream is sound the same. That's just some old cat recycle. Everything you say the same. I can't even fuck with your idols. So you woke, but your sources, they all inspired. It's an old ass coat with no source, you need to just retire. He say Egypt was in the Rockets, boy, you need to start the capping. You got that shit from Horace Butler, my nigga, I ain't even finna rap with you. You taking maps up out of context, and I told her for me go in your captions. Every day is just a lie, that's why your camera off, you're a bad actor. He just do this shit for YouTube clicks, he really a non-factor. He talking about everybody else is Neanderthal, but he the one RH factor. He keep yelling he aboriginal and I don't know the half. You dumbass, you African American, you need to accept your path. I'm asking you for for a source, but you keep trying to change all the directions. Now this nigga talking and talking and talking about some status correction. You arguing 5 hours, no receipts, that shit is not in your hand. That's an etymological fallacy, nigga, I know you don't understand. Your whole doctrine is full of YouTube clicks off Instagram. How you the fuck grown and you still following behind another grown man? You say you native, but your grandma, she from Virginia. But you sound like Rachel Dolezal, nigga, you cannot change your image. It's 12 hours on the screen, but you still broke, that's a comedy. You a coat with no receipts, and I'm telling you that's apparently. Hey, it's cheap bossa boy online. These niggas online with no ties. Say you Indian, just take a DNA test, you know it don't lie. You panel hopping all day long, chasing views. You faking the bass, you ducking the smoke, we can't even fuck with you. Every chat room full of the bots, my nigga, you know that's a dead crowd. How you claiming revolutionary? You know you just broken loud. Sean P been waiting for the bait, but these niggas, they scared to address the facts. This ain't no movement, nigga, I'm telling you, this just a Reddit thread at best. Hey, this just a Reddit thread at best. One take too, nigga, real shit.
Shit. So let me make sure my mic is straight. Mic check. Okay, that bit working. So, I've been on the trail for like I don't even know since before Charlie Kirk caught his little demise. I've been on trails of Nick Fuentes. I've been trying to figure out exactly what the purpose is, right? Because it's a lot going on behind the scenes. And what I've been knowing, I've been following the right wing for a minute. So I've been seeing the grift or the rift. It's all a grift. But I've been seeing the rift between the conservatives in real time. Like I watched them all follow up behind Trump, and then I watched them like in single file line, lined up right behind Trump. Then I watched them niggas splinter off into separate groups, right? I watched Charlie Kirk establish basically like the Ned Flanders role in the conservative party. He kind of like the face of the bubblegum conservative tip. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, I see that bullshit. But the conservative, he's like the bubblegum conservative, the mainstream conservative, so to speak, the populist, right? Or the popular conservative. Nick Fuentes, he represents the grassroots on the right, right? Something that's more authentic, is less of a backing of as far as like funding. Because I think when Charlie Kirk first got started, I think Charlie Kirk started at 18 years old, and he was receiving funding from Israel like immediately. He got a huge backing off the rip. So Nick Fuentes and him kind of had a beef. It was like the biggest beef Nick Fuentes had prior to him going and falling out with Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson taking shots at him, calling a gay kid in his mom's basement, which we don't know if he's gay or not, but we do know that nigga say he's 27 and he is a virgin. That's fair to say. But they went with the narrative initially that he was a left-wing zealot. They had engravings on bullets. They had all of these stories. So I'm trying to figure out. Look, this nigga be no funny. He got the jokes. Hey, Vino, why you playing? I pinned your comment for a reason. That's exactly what happened. And look, bro, I've been following it. That's exactly what happened. They splintered on Trump because Trump wasn't fascist enough. They needed Trump to be more white nationalist fascist. Trump been allowing a little bit too. He been a little Who's from? Vino, where you getting your news from, Vino? Where you getting your news from? I had to, you know what I mean? I had to reconnect my laptop. Where you getting your news from, Vino? Your shit a little bit behind the game. Your shit just a little bit behind. Let me hold up, let me adjust put the comments back. Where the comments go? Let me put the comments back on the screen. So this is my boy Al Prophets. Shout out to Al Prophets. I think that boy said he 25% African American. And he said that boy had a rap career. He said the first time he called himself Al Prophets, he was a rapper. So shout out to my boy Al Prophets. That boy 25% Negro.
J.D. Vance wanted to enter politics and was thinking he wanted to try to be nominated for vice president.
For real.
When Trump ran, he called Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk is the one who introduced him to, I think, Donald Trump Jr., or maybe it was Jared Kushner, Ivanka's husband, and that got him in the mix with Trump. This is how important Charlie Kirk was. I didn't know how big of a deal Charlie Kirk was. They say maybe he's probably one of the 5 most politically influential people. He's the one who put Candace Owens on. Now, Candace Owens hasn't been part of his group since 2019, so let's go back. How did this 31-year-old get to be such a big deal? So he went to high school in kind of the classic changing demographic. We all hear about the angry whites. Well, and I'm not really a believer in that term, but people, when things are changing, there's stresses. So he went to a high school in suburban Chicago that was known as like a hotbed of a pro-Obama. It changed from heavily white to a lot of Latino and some black while he was there. He was not popular in high school. It was definitely I'm not going to call high school students left wing, but it was not a place that, a young guy that was into the Republican Party was going to be popular or, get much of a voice. But they say he was really, really ambitious, which he must have been to get as far as he did as young as he was. So when he was 18, he wrote an article for Breitbart News. Breitbart was a right-wing online news thing. Steve Bannon, Trump's former kind of shaman, ran Breitbart. He wrote something about Breitbart. Kirk started at college briefly and then left it. He wrote an article for Breitbart, which then morphed into him creating something called Professor Watch, which still exists, where it's a website that lists professors that are supposedly, inappropriately liberal or left-wing or something. In the course of doing this and that getting traction, he meets an older political activist, like an old guy who's part of the Tea Party, who has money and recognizes the talent in Charlie Kirk and starts putting money into him and backing him, and they start Turning Point USA. Turning Point USA, I'm just finding this out. I'm sure some of you watching this know this is a big deal. Turning Point USA is in 3,500 high school and college campuses. It's just a political action network.
So when people use the term political influencer, this is really, he was like the pinnacle. Really, he was the literal pinnacle. The whole Jubilee style debates where you sit around and you listen to people talk back and forth, like one radical versus 20 leftists or whatever the fuck the titles be. This is what he was doing in real time. He would be on these campuses. I mean, it was a lot more controlled. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times they would only take certain questions from certain people. And as soon as they weren't saying things that they could clip and put on social media, they would move on to the next person. But nevertheless, he's got direct access to the high school and the college, which means the minds of the youth was immediately impacted with everything he said and did. And he came on my radar around, I would say around 2021, 2022, right? Richard Spencer, Nick Fuentes, and this dude, Charlie Kirk, all came on my radar at the same time. So I was keeping tabs on them really because I heard Richard Spencer. Richard Spencer was basically, to me, the most racist out of all of them. So I was keeping tabs on them, all three of them. And I watched and Gavin McGinnis as well. I was watching Gavin McGinnis, Richard Spencer, Nick Fuentes, and Charlie Kirk. All four of them was spewing anti-black rhetoric at the time. So I was keeping tabs on what they had going on because they was gaining a pretty big following. Now, they've since kind of fallen out. Some of them are taking bigger roles than others. But in the beginning, it was kind of like Gavin McGinnis and Richard Spencer at the front. And they were like the white nationalists that was getting all the pub. But Charlie Kirk and Nick Fuentes was kind of like the budding right-wing talent type shit. So they kind of took the mantle from McGinnis and Richard Spence when they started falling into the whole. I forgot what it was. I don't think Richard Spencer was tied to the Proud Boys, but it was one of them groups that was doing all that fake marching. Once they started getting tied to overly extreme branches in the shit, they started losing their followers. People started following behind Nick Fuentes and Charlie Kirk. So Charlie Kirk was kind of, like I said, the bubblegum cookie cutter, and Nick Fuentes was like the more radical. He believes in separation or segregationism. They openly call themselves neo-Confederates and neo-segregationists. They are against what you call a neo-con. The neo-con is basically like a right liberal. You know what I'm saying? And this is why this shit has been so muddy for so long. Because on the right, they got the neocons, which is basically like authoritarian liberals. And then you got the left, which is like these progressive ass liberals who do the same type rhetoric and the same type BS. They got the same type beliefs or the same type of ways about getting what they believe done. And this is what the problem is. So the neocons became the grade A top flight, like they was like the number one in the party. And then when MAGA came around, it gave rise to this new, younger, more alt-right movement that, like I said, Richard Spencer, Gavin McGinnis was kind of at the front of. Next thing you know, we got Charlie Kirk and Nick Fuentes. They were able to position themselves to basically take advantage of all of the right-wing viewers that were about to be coming up. So yeah, so that's what I'm saying. And you can get caught off in the language. When you say conservative and progressive, that's how they finessing the game. It's not conservatives and progressives. We're dealing with neocons, which is neoconservatives, and neoconservatism is basically like dressed up liberalism. The neoconservatives, a lot of them came from the Democratic Party. They left the Democratic Party, moved over to the Republican Party, and that's what we're talking about. They are now Republicans. They've been Republicans for 20, 30, 40 years. I think the first neoconservatives, I think that started in like the 60s or the 70s, I want to say. So you got to understand what I'm even talking about or even hear what you're saying. It's not two sides. They've been finessing. They've been playing the middle. The left liberals and the right liberals been locking arm and step. And that's why the more extreme branches of both parties have been running amok. Like when you really understand what's going on, when you see what's going on, it makes sense. That's why These people try to make everything alt-right, and then the right wing tries to make everything far left because they are in the middle already. They already met on liberalism. They already agree that they want to take all your tax dollars and they want to use it to be the global police. All of that shit is like, that's neoliberalism. They fucking with all that shit. So they're lock, arm, and step. The whole game is to get you to think it's a side, a left and a right. But what happens is when I'm playing this game, this left and right game, they're really radicalized people, right? So, but I'm gonna keep letting our prophets talk because I don't know where you keep getting this rhetoric from. Shooters ain't grow a liberal to turn conservative. They don't listen, bro. It's a pipeline. This is why Charlie Kirk had Turning Points USA, and they was focusing on talking to the college kids and the high school students. Those are the most impressionable minds. Those are the times to get them. Those are the times when they're leaving their parents' house. The parents are the ones who's teaching and instilling all this stuff. Everybody don't agree with their mom and dad, and everybody's not passionate about disagreeing with them while they're in the house. So they get out, they get on their own, and they're able to be basically indoctrinated, for lack of better words. But let me play some more of this clip real quick, because I want to get into my next clip that explains who Tyler Robinson Moore is.
Network meant to mobilize young people for the Republican Party, which, I mean, that's fine in theory, I guess. That's how American politics works. And he did obviously an excellent job for it to grow that fast. So in about 12 years, it got that big. But it's been big for quite some time. In 2017, he's the one, or turning point in him, kind of discovered and amplified Candace Owens. Candace Owens left Turning Point in 2019 after, things are so bizarre. So this is a black woman. She had to leave Turning Point because of her pro-Hitler comments. So now that gives you the fact that she was pushed out of Turning Point in 2019 for pro-Hitler comments, where she probably wouldn't have been now, shows you something about Charlie Kirk. He's very much like Trump, or was very much like Trump. In what sense? Well, Charlie Kirk.
So that right there is pure rhetoric. And what I'm going to do is, I don't want to disrespect our prophets. That's my boy. But I'm going to skip him. I'm going to go to the next one. I'm going to come back to our prophets. That's my nigga, though. Y'all go subscribe to our prophets, man. He do great content. Y'all go subscribe. Oh, my shit ain't even shared no more. Hold on, let me share my screen again. And y'all make sure y'all sub up to my boy Keith Edwards too. Everybody who I be playing, every stream that I play, I want to show them love. I want to make sure, like, if I don't play the whole video, or even if I do to play the whole video, make sure you go tap in with them and see what they got going on. A lot of these creators, they're very consistent, and you can fact check them. They're very consistent, and you can fact check them.
Who allegedly shot Charlie Kirk, a student who went to school with him, is speaking out. His grandma has now spoken out about his political affiliations, the family's political affiliations, and we also are getting more insight into who this person is. And I want to I want to go into all that, but I'm beside myself from what I just heard this man on Fox News say. Brian Kilmeade just endorsed euthanizing homeless people. And I just want to say that because this happened a couple days ago, we lost it and all this because of everything going on in the news cycle. I want to show it now, but let this be a reminder that this type of rhetoric does not happen on the left. And yes, the left has issues. I'm not gonna be the first person to say that the left is completely moral, but we do not do stuff like this, and we have to call it out. Here it is.
Billions of dollars to mental health and the homeless population. A lot of them don't want to take the programs. A lot of them don't want to get the help that is necessary. You can't give them a choice. Either you take the resources that we're going to give you, or you decide that you're going to be locked up in jail. That's the way it has to be now.
Or involuntary lethal injection or something. Just kill them.
Yeah, Brian, why did it happen?
It's actually stunning to hear. Let's hear it one more time.
Or involuntary lethal injection or something. Just kill them.
Yeah, Brian, why did it happen?
Just kill him. Just kill him. Why deal with the problem when you could just kill him? We have really slidden in this country into a place that I do not recognize. In one way, I'm like grateful it's out in the open, and in another, I'm very worried. If it's like this now, where is it heading? And I tweeted this. I'll say it again. In a normal country, he'd be fired immediately. Immediately, he wouldn't make it to Monday with that job. And the last thing I'm going to say about this is we know that Matthew Dowd from MSNBC was fired for just telling the truth. Things you say create an environment that may make it more dangerous for people to be alive, and it might actually come back to hurt you. That's a true statement. Doesn't mean he wishes that anything bad were happening to anyone. I don't wish anything bad on anyone at all. This is asymmetric. When you have someone telling the truth, getting fired for telling the truth, and you have someone saying things like this that are going to keep their job, asymmetric consequences result in asymmetric power. And that's how they've been able to acquire and grow power, because they just let these awful people continue to have their jobs. And we get rid of good people because they say something slightly not okay. And that is how we are just going to continue to keep losing if we allow them to define what is and isn't right. Thankfully, there's been some correction. So the Wall Street Journal, as you know, I'm just going to take you through some of these. The Wall Street Journal said that there was transgender and anti-fascist ideology on the bullets. Well, they've corrected that now. They said an earlier version of this article detailed how an internal law...
Pay attention.
If we allow them to define what is and isn't right. Thankfully, there's been some correction. So the Wall Street Journal, as you know, I'm just going to take you through some of these. The Wall Street Journal said that there was transgender and anti-fascist ideology on the bullets. Well, they've corrected that now. They said an earlier version of this article detailed how an internal law enforcement bulletin said that ammunition recovered following the Charlie Kirk shooting was engraved with expressions of transgender and anti-fascist ideology. Justice Department officials later urged caution about the bulletin by the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, saying it may not accurately reflect the messages on the ammunition, and the article was updated Thursday to reflect that. The editor's note was appended on Friday after Utah Governor Spencer Cox said that engravings, including one that said, "Hey, fascist," along with other messages and symbols. He gave no indication that ammunition included any transgender references. And what's incredible about this is the original story has 11 million views. This correction has 177,000, and even I don't know if they did this intentionally. Kash Patel is from that bureau, the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms. It seems to me that he was just like, hey, just make this seem as vague as possible. Let's just try to get this into the bloodstream. And then by the time they corrected it, the damage had been done. Now, there's also a report from The Guardian that originally said that the shooter is pretty on the left on everything, and the only member of his family that was really leftist. The friend went on to say the rest of his family was very hard Republican. Now, I actually have more commentary from neighbors and family and interviews coming up. But The Guardian actually corrected that too. And I will say, like, I've been posting about this on Twitter, which I'm going to still keep calling Twitter. It's not X, it's Twitter. And this is what people had been responding to me with. Like, well, actually, he is a leftist. He is a leftist. Well, now The Guardian has corrected this. The article was updated on 12 September 2025 to remove quotes after the verified source who attended high school with Tyler Robinson said after publication that they could not accurately remember details of their relationship. But then again, damage kind of already done. Okay, now here is one interview with a neighbor.
If you live anywhere here in the red circled area and you have an old struggling air conditioning or
straight
heating
line
system,
on the front street,
right now we have an
and then
offer
make
going
a
on that we can
retraction.
get you a brand new, super efficient air.
Like, bro, how is you finna lie and then retract? Like, see, that's bogus.
Who knew the suspect.
Family, I know there was several cars that frequented there, that lived there. I'm under the impression maybe there's a couple younger children. He may have a couple younger brothers that live there, that his parents were active in the LDS community. I am very much in shock that this was so close to home. I would think that his family would be very hurt. I have a lot of sympathy for his family right now, his parents and his loved ones, that they have to really be hurting.
I'm glad they got a suspect. Of course, he's innocent until proven guilty. My understanding is a family member gave the big lead that turned him in, so thank you to that family member. It took a lot of courage to do that. In this country, you should be able to express ideas, and if you disagree with them, that's what discussion's for and debate's for. It's really sad that this country's come to a point where on one side of the political aisle, if you say something that is disagreed with, you get killed instead of debate and discussed and trying to
We don't know the motives of this. So sorry to that Arizona resident. Was it Arizona resident or is it why Scottsdale, Arizona resident? We don't know why this happened, Damien. So there is violence happening on both sides. I don't want any violence. I'm sure you don't either. Please stop trying to say this is one side doing this. We know that this is both sides. And to be completely clear, we don't know which side this man is on. And this woman I guess she didn't really know them. I don't know why the AP interviewed her. Okay. Now here is a student who went to school with Tyler Robinson.
I went to school with this Tyler Robinson kid. I'll show y'all. That's him right there. Tyler Robinson. I'm not trying to like clout chase, make this shit about me, but I'm not gonna say I knew this kid really well. I didn't know him very well at all, but I definitely saw him for like 3 straight years in high school, and the best way I could describe him is just like a Reddit kid. I don't know, I feel like if you were in high school around that same time, and even probably now, like 2018, and then like, you know, those kinds of kids. But that's exactly what he was. All I'm gonna say is this is the kind of shit that happens when you spend way too much time online and all of a sudden your beliefs are all the way this way or all the way this way, and you do some dramatic shit to please these people that are not your friends. This internet shit is seriously no joke.
Yeah, well, he's right there. Regardless of what side you're on this internet, the internet is truly corrupting our lives. Now, Charlie Kirk's suspect's grandma also said this about him. I'm not going to be surprised with this. Quote, "My son, his dad, is a Republican for Trump," Debbie told the Daily Mail. Quote, "Most of the family members are Republican. I don't know any single one who's a Democrat." According to the outlet, Robinson's father, Matt, 48, was the one to turn Tyler into the authorities after he confessed to the crime. Debbie has not been able to get in touch with her son since news of her grandson's arrest went public. Quote, "I'm just..."
So there's another thing. Capital. Sorry. That he made some stupid ass announcement like this is cops doing good cop work. But the FBI did nothing. This boy was turned in by somebody, a member of the church, who was friends of his dad. His dad told the member of the church. And then they was like, "Son, you got to turn yourself in." Jit was not finna turn himself in. He is right now not cooperating. I gotta get to the clip, but he's not cooperating. Jit ain't want to turn himself in. Jit thought he got swift. And you heard his one of his classmates say he was a ready kid. This shit is not no joke. This online bullshit is really creating psychosis in people's brains. People start to believe shit that's not real. And people start to act in ways that they would not normally act. That's just the bottom line with this shit. And this is all known. The internet was created by DARPA. And I'm going to do I got a documentary on DARPA and the internet and everything. The DARPA is like I forgot the acronyms for it, but it's like the military intelligence for the government. I'm telling you right now, they did studies and they were fascinated with trying to figure out how people interact, how people come to ideas, how people, what was another one that they had? But it was basically like social interactions. This whole thing, like even this shit we doing right now, being on panels, this is like exactly what they were trying to get to when the internet was first created. The whole chat room forums and people popping it up in the game chats and all this shit. This is what it's about. They're watching and they're learning, and at the same time, it's a social experiment, in my opinion.
The structure motorized pergola system is reinventing the way homeowners experience the outdoors. The most versatile, modern, useful outdoor patio space.
Okay, the furry Trizans on your screen is in fact Lance Twiggs, Tyler Robinson, the shazooter of Charlie Kirk's roommate. O.M. Jizzleberry. Now, Mr. Twiggs or Mrs. Twiggs has been questioned and released and is not considered a suspect at this time because them have been very helpful to the police. In fact, to the tune of turning over text messages and Discord server messages. Apparently all the action in the world is on Discord these days. I guess in immediate aftermath of what Tyler Robinson did, he sent text messages to his roommate Lance Twiggs about maybe trying to retrieve he did the deed from 200 yards away, stashed the rifle, and maybe was asking Twiggs to go get it, or he made some reference to it. Obviously, the FBI is not going to release that much information. So, is this a conspiracy? Okay, so they live in a town, or they lived in a city.
Hold up, let me run that back. They say he was trying to implicate Catboy. See, the story is just too dynamic.
Or he made the rifle and maybe was asking Twiggs to go get it, or he made some reference to it. Obviously, the FBI is not going to release that much information. So, is this a conspiracy? Okay, so they live in a town, or they lived in a city. Well, Tyler Robinson, he'll be living in a penitentiary, but Lance Twiggs, when Tyler Robinson was his roommate, they lived in St. George, Utah. Now, St. George, Utah, not saying this has anything to do with it, but it's very interesting. When I moved to LA the very first time, and I drove my car from Detroit, and we took the northern route, we went through Utah. Utah is such a strange, empty landscape. I was driving with my buddy Blake. We got like creeped out. It was like being on an alien planet. And so there's Salt Lake City, but in the whole like kind of middle empty part of the state, there's one city, St. George. St. George, Utah for a long time was home to a lot of people with, very like some rare cancers were, I don't know, 50 or 100 times more likely to occur because that was the emptiest part of the contiguous 48, the lower 48 states, and they would do nuclear testing there. The last of the above ground nuclear testing, St. George was the only population center nearby, and it did cause a lot of problems with the people. Just historical factoid. But so Lance Twiggs and Tyler Robinson were living in a house there in St. George. They paid $900 a month for 2 of the 3 bedrooms. They had a third, so neighbors were obviously asked about them. They had a third roommate, a male, who moved out about a year ago. Since that time, neighbors described them as blasting music and sticking to themselves. An 11-year-old boy, Oliver Holt, I think his name was, he said he knocked on the door, maybe trying to sell newspapers or get an odd job, or you know what young guys are trying to make money in the neighborhood, shovel snow, deliver newspapers, whatever. And he said that Tyler Robinson was acting strange, that he had the door open and he kind of didn't want him to see inside. Maybe just he didn't want to see any man-on-man activity. I don't know. So, but people had been saying they had been acting strange. They had become loners since the third roommate moved out. This Lance Twiggs, is he transitioning? Not quite clear. His family, I don't know how much they talk to him. It looks like he's a furry. If you don't know what furries are, that's a big thing. It's people that dress up in these animal costumes. Some of them just do it a little bit around the house. Some incorporate their sex life into it. Some live some weird, wild stuff with it. Again, to me, all these people thinking they're different genders, wanting to play cat, pretend they're a cat or something, is symptomatic of the sickness of our society. Not even necessarily them personally, that people are so alienated from this world of where we're just supposed to work all day and buy stuff and worship the Super Bowl and whatever it is you're supposed to. I don't even know what you're supposed to do these days. You can't take no women on a date. I mean, unless you're upper income, like I can take a chick on a date, but a 25-year-old, like you can't even go on a date. Like everything's too expensive. I don't know what young people do. I feel bad. But
let me tell you what they do. They sniffing pills. They ride around serving clubs. And then if you ain't doing that, you going to work every day, getting off. That's it. He right. Shit is too motherfucking expensive. I get in my car, do my little routes, come back to the crib. I ain't gonna lie. A nigga did. I did go to Orlando probably like 2 months ago. Did a little resort thing, but if you know the game, you can get a resort for the low. Gotta stay swift.
But anyway, so he's living with someone that at least sometimes presents as a woman. Does it make you? I mean, that Trezan's word is kind of broad. Quite interesting. That person immediately cooperated. As of now, they're not a person of interest or being held. Could that change? Sure, it could change. I find it. I mean, I don't want to put a case on a person, I don't know, but I would find it surprising that, especially it's just 2 roommates, the neighbors are saying you've been being reclusive and weird. They both were like big gamers. They were on this Discord server with each other and some other friends, so it's not like they were living in total isolation. Tyler Robinson, I did a story yesterday about him being passively employed with the Groyper movement, which is Nick Fuentes, which is even more right-wing. And you might think of this as contradictory, but remember, crazy people, which is people who shoot down people in public. You know, this is not, whatever you think about Charlie Kirk, and the more I learn about Charlie Kirk, I don't like him, think he was a dangerous demagogue. Gunning him down at a university is not right, obviously. It's not the way to go, it's illegal. As another side note, a Secret Service agent was let go for making basically post of saying, hey, he got what he deserved. There's been several major people on like MSNBC and other things that have been let go for saying similar things. A lot of the black and definitely the GAY influencer space, not a lot of grief, some happiness. Charlie Kirk was an extremely effective organizer, and while in the short term he may be somewhat of a martyr, you still would replace him with an equally effective organizer. I mean, there is a reason that people deploy violence against their enemies. Right? You take out effective operators on the other side, it has an impact.
نشكر مؤسسة هيونتي بالأداء الرائع في تقديم الوجبة في ظل الحصار الخانق في ظل عدم.
But so quite a development that he had a trans or even just someone who dressed up like a woman sometime and was a furry. That's pretty weird. This person, when interviewed by the FBI, immediately turned over text messages. From the way the sentence was structured, I really couldn't tell if they were old, but I think they were new text messages that happened that day. Maybe trying to get him to help him. He said, I stashed a rifle. They may have had crazy conversations together. That doesn't mean lots of people, we all have crazy conversations with different people about different stuff you may not expect.
Man, hell no. I'm not talking with no cat boy about assassinating no motherfucking influencer and asking that motherfucker to go get my motherfucking rifle. That sounds crazy. I'm saying that sounds crazy to say the least, bro. To say the least, bro. Right, you see the comments, they talking about the furry freezing. I'm trying to figure out why he popped out on that scene like that. Hey, that is crazy. Damn, gang.
His assassination was the result of the climate of hate. But only I said the chickens came home to roost, and which means the same thing. Climate of hate means that this is the result of something. And when I said chickens coming home to roost, I said the same thing.
September 10th, 2025, while speaking at a university in Utah, Charlie Kirk got clapped. Now you may ask, Antonio, how do you feel about this? And my initial reaction was,
hey, yo, niggas get shot every day, B. You be alright,
maybe I'm just desensitized to murders. I grew up with so many classmates that didn't make it to 21, 25, they never got to experience life. So why should I be over here dwelling about a racist white man who didn't like me, you know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna just give another analogy. Back during slavery, slaves were not supposed to mourn over the slave master. Like, you don't gotta be happy, but to be sad is crazy. Now, a lot of the arguments of people defending Charlie Kirk are stating how, he was just killed over his opinions. These were political views. Political views?
If I see a black pilot, I'm going to be like, boy, I hope he's qualified.
Why did you say that the civil rights bill should be overturned?
I didn't say that. I said it was a mistake.
Why? That's crazy.
Now you gotta figure it out.
I wouldn't be here. That's trouble.
Who's that?
Damn, now I'm tripping. See, that's that Zah. Man, I've been talking this whole time on mute. That's crazy. See, that's that Zah. Yeah, I be on board. See, I'm finna go ahead. I'm finna finish this video and shut it down. That's what that mean. Nigga, Bobby, goddamn. That's that Zah. That's crazy. Well, at least I know I'm feeling good. Let me go and play this stream, man. I'm gonna get better, man. That's crazy though. I thought I was going in. I'm not even finna even. I guess the good answers they want me to pop that shit. I don't know what the fuck. That's crazy. I'm gonna just mind my business.
Gotta be happy, but to be sad is crazy. Now, a lot of the arguments of people the experience life. So why should I be over here dwelling about a racist white man who didn't like me? You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna just give another analogy. Back during slavery, slaves were not supposed to mourn over the slave master. Like, you don't gotta be happy, but to be sad is crazy. Now, a lot of the arguments of people defending Charlie Kirk are stating how, you know, he was just killed over his opinions. These were political views. Political views?
If I see a black pilot, I'm going to be like, boy, I hope he's qualified.
Why did you say that the civil rights bill should be overturned?
I didn't say that. I said it was a mistake.
Why? That's crazy.
Now you gotta figure it out.
I wouldn't be here. That's trouble.
Who's that? If I'm dealing with somebody in customer service who's a moronic black woman, I wonder, is she there because of her excellence, or is she there because of affirmative action?
When blacks in America did not have the same rights they had today, they were less murderous, there was less break-ins. Why is that? And the data shows they were actually better in the 1940s. It was bad, it was evil.
Yeah, y'all want me to feel sorry for him? And it's just crazy because the moments leading up to Charlie Kirk's death, it was poetic. I don't mean that in a good way poetically, but Charlie Kirk was asked a question about mass shootings in America.
How many mass shooters there have been in America over the last 10 years?
And he replied with a racist dog whistle comment about gang violence. Seconds after that, he was gone.
Counting or not counting gang violence?
Now, to add icing on the cake, guess who took the life of Charlie Kirk? It wasn't an immigrant, it wasn't a black man, it wasn't a transgender, it was a young white male. But hey, black people are the violent ones. Not to mention that same day, there was a school shooting in Denver, Colorado. And guess who the suspect was? But we the violent ones. Unfortunately, as a young black man living in America, I cannot feel sorry for Charlie Kirk. But there are a lot of people who are crashing out behind him.
I am Charlie, and I will not be silenced. And I will talk until your ears bleed. Okay? I am Charlie Kirk, and I will not be silenced, ever. You will never silence this white girl.
To the left. If it's war you want, it's war you're gonna get. And it's war you're not gonna want in the end.
It's time we rise.
This is such bullshit. I've never been so pissed in my whole life. I just murdered Charlie Kirk right here in Utah. I'm so freaking pissed right now. This is bullshit. I just saw blood squirting out of his neck. I love that guy. He would have been our next president.
Boy, if you don't get... Dog, this is actually sad. The parasocial relationships nowadays is bad. Where was this outrage a couple weeks ago when the kids got killed at a school? Like, what? And to be honest, race aside, Charlie probably would not give a about your kids getting killed in a school shooting. This is what he had to say.
I think it's worth to have a cost of, unfortunately, some gun deaths every single year so that we can have the Second Amendment to protect our other God-given rights.
And another thing, Charlie literally was a fan of the way that he went out.
And this is my other problem with death penalty. It takes too long, too many appeals. Expensive. It should be public, it should be quick, it should be televised. By the way, I would totally tune into and you know what? I want to watch that execution. That'll make my day better. I want to see him on a public block and get him be publicly executed. You think children should have... You should see it. What is the age? What age should you start to see public executions?
16. I think
I think you could do it earlier. I think you maybe at age 12,
Whenever-
6th grade or so.
And you got some people walking around saying he was the second coming of Jesus. Now I will say this, y'all, just as a human being, seeing that clip of Charlie Kirk on the 10th, bruh, I ain't gonna lie, it ruined my day because I don't feel like the human experience, we're supposed to see anyone pass away, especially that violently, you know? From the shot, I knew bro was gone. It wasn't critical condition. No, he was gone after that goddamn shot. And it did something to me. You know, I put myself in his shoes for a moment, race aside, because I am a father. I'm a young father of 3. He is a father too. But like I said, death doesn't excuse you from your actions. And just going through the digital footprint that he left behind, man, I'm not gonna say he was asking for it, but bro, the energy you put out is the energy you receive. Malcolm X broke it down perfectly. And then at first I was like, yeah, man, his kids was there seeing that, and I do feel bad for them. But where was the grace for us? I'm gonna tell y'all a story of what they used to do back in slavery. I know y'all don't want to hear slavery, yada yada, so whatever. I don't care. You gonna hear this. So when slavery really first got started over here, man, like those slaves were so rebellious. Like they used to always, you know, they kept fighting. They had that heart. So what they ended up doing was coming up with a strategy to break the slave and to break them from ever doing it. So they would take the biggest and baddest and like the most problematic slave, right? They would get all the families, kids, children, women, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, no grace for us, right? Gather all of them up. They would grab the slave, right? The first thing they would do is tar and feather him. You know, hot, yeah, that shit, it burns. Next thing they would do, they would grab 2 horses, put the brother up in a tree, set him on fire, have one horse pull a leg this way, have another horse pull a leg that way. Everybody sees that. The mothers, they're going to tell their children, oh, don't be bad, because that's going to happen to you. That's going to happen to you. Children and all. It was no grace for us. And even to bring up the point that Charlie said, yeah, the black people during the 1940s, they were less problematic. Yes, because we would get hanged for simply looking at somebody white. He supposedly whistled at a woman, and bro, like just... I remember seeing the photo of Emmett Till back in the 5th grade, and I literally had nightmares. Like, I know that shit sounds crazy, but like that picture of him is horrific. Like, it's bad. I love Malcolm X so much because he literally has a quote for everything. That brother said, we are non-violent with people who are non-violent with us. In simple terms, we give the same energy back. Y'all want to keep making these...
Shout out to Antonio Speed. I fuck with him and Young Don reacts. They probably like my 2 favorite young niggas that be reacting this shit. I like how them boys be giving it up. But Young Don reacts. I think he from Jamaica, so people might think he a tether. But you know, my dad and his people from Puerto Rico, so you know I'm part tether. So you know I fuck with bro. You feel me? I fuck with bro. But Antoine just says he just slid right there.
Everybody sees that. The mothers, they're going to tell their children, oh, don't be bad, because that's going to happen to you. That's going to happen to you. Children and all. It was no grace for us. And even to bring up the point that Charlie said, yeah, the black people during the 1940s, they were less problematic. Yes, because we would get hanged for simply looking at somebody white. He supposedly whistled at a woman, and bro, like just... I remember seeing the photo of Emmett Till back in the 5th grade, and I literally had nightmares. Like, I know that shit sounds crazy, but like that picture of him is horrific. Like, it's bad. I love Malcolm X so much because he literally has a quote for everything. That brother said, we are non-violent with people who are non-violent with us. In simple terms, we give the same energy back. Y'all want to keep making these black fatigue videos and black people so violent, this and that. I don't care. I'm gonna do the same shit back. I be getting so many comments like of white people saying, bro, you're doing the same thing that they're doing. Like, you're racist, you're this and that. Whenever y'all go under their videos and give them the same energy and tell them to stop, is when I'll stop, bro, because it's literally like a 1v fucking 1,000, bro. Like, it's so many negative black videos. Everybody think we just this and that. Nobody says a thing to them. The moment I do this.
Hey, that's a fact, bro. That's that asymmetrical punishment shit that the dude Keith Edwards was talking about. That asymmetrical punishment shit. First of all, it causes radicalization because people feel demonized while other person is getting some unworthy gratification, so they become God complexed. This shit is not even hard to understand. This is what I'm saying. This is why this shit all come back to dark.
The same thing back, it's a problem with me. And even just with the jokes surrounding us and give them the same energy, we give the same energy back. Y'all want to keep non-violent with people who are non-violent with us. In simple terms, we give the same woman, and bro, like just... I remember seeing the photo of Emmett Till back in the 5th grade, and I literally had nightmares. Like, I know that shit sounds crazy, but like that picture of him is horrific. Like, it's bad. I love Malcolm X so much because he literally has a quote for everything. That brother said, we are non-violent with people who are non-violent with us. In simple terms, we give the same energy back. Y'all want to keep making these black fatigue videos and black people so violent, this and that. I don't care. I'm gonna do the same shit back. I be getting so many comments like of white people saying, bro, you're doing the same thing that they're doing. Like, you're racist, you're this and that. Whenever y'all go under their videos and give them the same energy and tell them to stop, it's when I'll stop, bro, because it's literally like a 1v fucking 1,000, bro. Like, it's so many negative black videos. Everybody think we just this and that. Nobody says a thing to them. The moment I do the same thing back, it's a problem with me. And even just with the jokes surrounding Charlie Kirk's death, I don't care for them, because guess what? There are literally whole entire meme pages made up of George Floyd. That man died 5 years ago and people are still bringing him up. He was a father, he had kids, he had a family. Where's the grace for him? But guess what? When it's a white Christian male living in America, the world's golden boy, they want you to feel sad for him. They want you to feel that. Bro, man, fuck out of here. And it just pisses me off. I see so many black people getting online crying about, oh yeah, Charlie Kirk had a family, he had a this and that. Bro, everybody got a family. Everybody got to check out of this place. But guess what? That doesn't excuse you from your fucking actions, bro. Or like a racist person is cool because I understand, like, you don't like me, that's cool. But to see a fucking raccoon, a black person that's so for the white men and not for your, man, oh my God.
If you have health insurance, you might be able to see a personal dietitian for $0 out of pocket. Nourish connects you with a
Whew. Let me calm down, man. Let me chill out. Listen, I don't think no one deserves to go, especially the way Charlie did. You know, even me saying that, bro. And Charlie, bro, he literally was one of the main people that sparked me wanting to make this channel. I created this YouTube channel, Antonio Speaks, July 3rd, 2025. But I remember a week prior to me making my first ever video, I was seeing so much political content and mainly anti-black content. One of the first videos I seen was Charlie Kirk talking about how violent black people are. Like, damn, bro. And for him to go out to a white man, it's just ironic. Like, keep our fucking names out y'all mouth. We don't do anything. And mind you, y'all, even all of this stuff going on, it was a white man that did it. Why are HBCUs being targeted now? People are always trying to blame black people, man, but y'all always want our fucking sympathy. We nothing to none of y'all, bruh. If anything, we kill each other. We have a problem internally, but guess what? They're still gonna blame us. And the reason it's like that internally is because of the systems that were set up. Listen, bro, I need all my young black men, any black person in general. That's why I hate these diaspora wars, bro. Because, man, bro, I'm ranting. This video gonna be, I don't want to go too off topic. Look, man, I'm in my feelings right now. This shit got me.
Nah, he ain't ranting. Nah, bro, he ain't ranting. He was getting his shit off. He thought he was ranting. Nah, my brother was snapping right there. Crazy thing about it, man, like he said, he was watching Charlie Kirk. Hold on, man. He's on the white motorcycle. Is turning up right here. He say, man, these niggas still turning up. Man, what is it? Man, look, that's what they do on the late night. Man, listen. He just went off. He already know what's up, man. Charlie Kirk, Richard Spencer, these type dude, this anti-black stuff, man. There wasn't no rant. He popped off. He did his thing. You feel me? So the way I see it, man, what's understood ain't gotta be explained. Let me tap in with this. Let me tap in with this Epstein shit real quick.
Welcome everybody to Crystal Kyle and Friends. We got an awesome episode this week. We're super excited to have in studio Joy Ann Reid.
Hello.
Thank you so much for joining us. I was really looking forward to this conversation.
Same here. I'm really glad that we could make this happen. It is so good to see. I love you, Kyle. I think you're great. But this is my girl. Like, it's like a reunion.
That's my girl too.
The Ms. Now family.
Yeah.
It's not MSNBC anymore.
I still, like, that is so weird for me to wrap my head around.
Yeah.
And yeah, we'll get into all that MSNBC stuff. Because I'm curious your view of, like, the different eras at MSNBC as well. So yeah.
It's changed a lot.
Yes, there have been evolutions over the years for sure.
But before we get to that, there's not much going on this week, though.
No.
So there's not much to talk about. So, how you got a chance to look at the Epstein book, the whole Epstein book?
I did.
What the fuck? What the fuck?
What the actual?
Like
what?
The one that got me was the one where it's the picture. It says it's like Epstein in 1983, and he's holding balloons, and there's little girls.
This is the one that is the creepiest of all. I mean, I thought the Trump one was gross.
With the check, right? With the check or the letter?
No, the one with the signature. The sketch with the signature, the naked lady.
Naked lady or prepubescent girl.
Right. A prepubescent girl. But the one with him off to the side with the balloon kids. It's too on the nose, right? I mean, and then you've got the massaging ladies over to the other side. There's one where there's a woman that seems to be crying out to the heavens, and he's on the table getting a massage. I mean, so everyone understood what he was. They all thought it was funny, and to me, it speaks to the absolute devaluing of women and girls in this country. They just do not care about them at all.
I mean, I think.
Imagine being able to build anything just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44, a complete.
I ain't gonna lie. Let me cue this up before I even. This is gonna be interesting, right? Because, it's gonna be interesting. Because I'm not a big Joy fan. I fuck with Crystal Ball, but I got it like sometimes Crystal B's too catty for me. Like, but that's my dog. Though. I like it, but I gotta see how she finna try to talk to Joy. Cause Joy be wrong a lot, man. Sometimes, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like when you work for the establishment for so long, people can think that like who you are is like the person that's been betrayed on the TV. But I mean, she been fired. I think she got her own podcast now. I done watched a couple of episodes, but like I said, I'm not the biggest fan of Joy. But I'm just watching. I'm watching the interaction.
To me, the most disturbing thing was honestly like the totality of it.
Yeah.
Because as you look through it, when I saw the Trump one and that was just on its own, I thought like that is disgusting and it's very hard to imagine an innocent explanation. But when you see page after page and they're all in this weird like eyes wide shut kind of code, there's no jokes about anything other than Jeffrey's sexual life.
That's it.
And it's like, Jesus Christ, they were all in on, like they all knew what was happening. I'm like, Eyes Wide Shut must have been a documentary. The QAnon people, I guess, were on to something. It was just like disgusting, the level of depravity that is throughout this thing.
Well, so this is the thing, and we did it on my show. I kind of went into a deep wormhole on it. That the QAnon conspiracy, fundamentally, what it is that there's a global pedophile ring, a global pedophile satanic conspiracy, and that these pedophiles are being protected by the world's elite. Mm-hmm. That fundamental part of their conspiracy theory turns out to be true. And
it's just all Republicans.
Right, it's just, and there might be some
Bill Clinton,
Democrats in it too, right?
Bill Clinton, all Republicans.
And the weird thing is, I mean, I'm not here to defend Bill Clinton. His was one of the only notes that was like a little bit normal.
That's right. It wasn't sexual. All the others are like drawing titties, and he's over there like, happy birthday, Jim.
Yeah. All the rest are like, remember when I spit on her cunt? Like, what? This is a 50-year-old man's birthday book.
Correct.
Like, some of the pictures too that were like intentionally childlike in the way they were drawn.
Correct.
Was
they understood it, and I'm thinking, who is the person that put the book together?
I think it was Ghislaine, wasn't it?
Was it?
Right.
I think
If it's a woman, and if it's Ghislaine, you're thinking as a woman, you're putting this together and going, oh, let's print that one. Like, this is the curation? You thought this seemed normal to hand this to a pedophile?
A section literally labeled children.
And there's a picture in the children's section. They blanked out the face, but it's a girl who's younger than a teenager. I want to say like 9, maybe 8, 7, somewhere in there. And she's like poking her butt out and turning to the side. You didn't see this?
No.
It's in this children's section. It's like, what are we talking about? Did you see the one with Trump holding the check? There's a big check. Trump's holding it with Jeffrey Epstein. It says $22,500 on it. And what it's supposed to be is they're joking about Trump buying a girl from Epstein for $22,500, and it says she's fully depreciated.
Okay,
this was at Mar-a-Lago. This was at Mar-a-Lago too.
And we know they shared a girlfriend.
They did. They shared a girlfriend, and allegedly, according to Michael Wolff, Melania had sex with Epstein a year before Trump had sex with Melania.
Wow. But what you guys don't understand, though, is that Trump was actually a white hat pedophile working for the FBI undercover to expose all of this. So
Yes,
we
he
really
had to go
owe him
undercover.
our thanks.
And you actually, you know, it's like you got to snort the coke in order to prove to the drug dealers that you're one of them. He was really just trying to be authentic in his FBI, you know, But I mean, the fact even, you can put the book aside. How among us is friends with a pedophile for 10 to 15 years? Like that.
Younger than a teenager. I want to say like 9, maybe 8, 7, somewhere in there. And she's like poking her butt out and turning to the side. You didn't see this?
No.
It's in this children's section. It's like, what are we talking? Did you see the one with Trump holding the check? There's a big check. Trump's holding it with Jeffrey Epstein. It says $22,500 on it. And what it's supposed to be is they're joking about Trump buying a girl from Epstein for $22,500, and it says she's fully depreciated.
Okay,
this was at Mar-a-Lago. This was at Mar-a-Lago, too.
And we know they shared a girlfriend.
They did. They shared a girlfriend. And allegedly, according to Michael Wolff, Melania had sex with Epstein a year before Trump had sex with Melania.
Wow. But what you guys don't understand, though, is that Trump was actually a white hat pedophile working for the FBI undercover to expose all of this. So
Yes,
we
he
really
had to
owe
go
him our
undercover.
thanks.
And you actually, you know, it's like you got to snort the coke in order to prove to the drug dealers that you're one of them. He was really just trying to be authentic in his FBI, you know, But I mean, it's the fact even, you could put the book aside. How among us is friends with a pedophile for 10 to 15 years? Like that is unusual. And then who among us
like
is
besties.
Besties.
Right.
And then also friends with John Casablancas, who
That's
was
right.
also a predator.
Yep.
And then also
Who
friends
he admired,
who he
looked
admired
up to as like a role
and
model
did events
for
with.
his own Trump modeling agency, which is modeled after.
Correct.
Yeah.
Let your daughter at 14 be represented by John Casablancas, Ivanka. That's who represented Ivanka.
That's right.
And then also friends with Jean-Luc. What's his name?
Jean-Luc Brunel.
Jean-Luc Brunel. So you're friends
Pedophile,
with
yep.
2. Okay, so you have multiple friends that are pedos. Like that in and of itself should raise some suspicions among the QAnoners. I don't know.
Who he admired,
who he
looked
admired.
up to as like a role
And did
model
events
for
with.
his own Trump modeling agency, which is modeled after.
Correct.
Yeah.
Let your daughter at 14 be represented by John Casablancas, Ivanka. That's who represented Ivanka.
That's right.
And then also friends with Jean-Luc. What's his name?
Jean-Luc Brunel.
Jean-Luc Brunel. So you're friends
Pedophile,
with
yep.
2. Okay, so you have multiple friends that are pedos. Like that in and of itself should raise some suspicions among the QAnoners. I don't know why they can't make that shift to see that the thing that they feared is the guy they thought was cute.
Let me tell you, they drive me crazy. Like the Rogan sphere, the Tim Dillons of the world. He'll do 3 hours on Jeffrey Epstein, but he'll conveniently leave out all of the Trump facts about Epstein that are like, here it is. Here's the core of your conspiracy. I literally make a list that I brought up on my show all the time. Epstein was Trump's best friend for a decade. Trump was on Epstein's plane 7 times that we know of. It was probably more than that. The first time Trump and Melania had sex was on the
And see, that's the thing I'm saying. Like, see, Joy might get a subscription. See, Joy going in just then. That's what I'm saying. That's my whole thing. She hit the nail on the head. I'm finna run it back. She hit the nail on the head. I'm sitting up here like, Joy, that's what we needed from you when you was on C. Where she was at? I can't remember what the broadcast. I think she was on CNN or NBC. I know she was on cable news, and she was up there speaking that bud jive. Damn, I ain't like her when she was up there on cable news, but she popping it right here. I like what she doing right here. She being honest, she being uncut. But I think it could go left at any moment. Some tension in that room. I feel like you can cut it with a butter knife. I feel like you could cut it with a butter knife.
But I mean, it's the fact even, you could put the book aside. How among us is friends with a pedophile for 10 to 15 years. Like, that is unusual. And then who among
And
us
like
is
besties.
Besties.
Right.
Yeah.
And then also friends with John Casablancas, who was
right.
also a predator.
Yep.
And then also
Who
friends
he admired,
who he
looked
admired
up to as like a role
and
model
did events
for
with.
his own Trump modeling agency, which is modeled after.
Correct.
Yeah.
Let your daughter at 14 be represented by John Casablancas, Ivanka. That's who represented Ivanka.
That's right.
And then also friends with Jean-Luc. What's his name?
Jean-Luc Brunel.
Jean-Luc Brunel. So you're friends
Pedophile,
with
yep.
2. Okay, so you have multiple friends that are pedos. Like, that in and of itself should raise some suspicions among the QAnoners. I don't know why they can't make that shift to see that the thing that they feared is the guy they thought was cute.
Let me tell you, they drive me crazy. Like the Rogan sphere, the Tim Dillons of the world. He'll do 3 hours on Jeffrey Epstein, but he'll conveniently leave out all of the Trump facts about Epstein that are like, here it is. Here's the core of your conspiracy. I literally make a list that I brought up on my show all the time. Epstein was Trump's best friend for a decade. Trump was on Epstein's plane 7 times that we know of. It was probably more than that. The first time Trump and Melania had sex was on the Lolita Express, the pedophile plane. I have a list of like 30 things. Like, here are all the connections between Trump and Epstein. Somehow it never gets brought up in Tim Dillon land and Joe Rogan land and all the Rogan sphere people.
Right. And if there was some sort of, either CIA, Mossad, or both connection, which, by the way, there is another entry in there that's like, we think Jeffrey's CIA inside the birthday book.
Yeah.
Then, the person you'd be most concerned about being compromised in that regard would be the President of the United States.
Right. That's right.
And so, I know you guys saw J.D. Vance when the initial reporting about the birthday book comes down. He's like, how dare, this is defamation, this doesn't exist, blah, blah, blah. And now they're on to like, well, that signature doesn't look like Trump's signature. I mean, like, the level that they're willing to just completely make shit up.
Hey, Alicia Little here, and I'm excited to announce that the 3rd annual AI and Marketing Summit is here.
Lie, throw things against the wall. Oh, he's an FBI informant, actually. He was like doing good.
He's
oh,
trying to
this
save
isn't
the
him
girls.
at all. Yeah, it's all just, let's just talk about Bill Clinton. It's just wild to me that anyone buys this shit. And yet, plenty do. Plenty actually are buying. It's a Democrat hoax. It's Hillary Clinton. It's Jim Comey. Like, what?
Well, there's a Jim Jones factor to Trump's support, right? I mean,
Yeah, that's right.
They will not believe anything about Jim Jones until the Kool-Aid is literally down the gullet, right? They won't do it. But I feel like the other piece, and this is where I have to say our old industry, mainstream media, is failing completely. More Perfect Union has done more in-depth reporting on the financial aspects of it. The Bear Stearns, JP Morgan, the fact that it appears the banks, they also knew what he was doing. But this 40% Bear Stearns owned company that Jeffrey Epstein was operating to help billionaires hide their money, that continued operating even after Bear Stearns took down our economy. Make those connections. Like, that's the investigative journalism that I would like to see companies with all of these resources start to do. Make the connection for me into JP Morgan. Make the connection with Bear Stearns, because this tanked our economy. And it appears that the same entities that took our economy down in 2008 in the Great Recession were fully aware of Jeffrey Epstein's activities. And on top of that, when he got his sweetheart deal in Florida and was able to serve a shortened 18-month sentence for being a pedophile and go out every day to go to work at his nonprofit, apparently he was helping the government by turning in other people that were involved in financial shenanigans. So it's like, those are the connections that people don't want to make, in addition to just the discarding of these young girls.
8 billionaires were in the birthday book. 8 billionaires.
New York Times just yesterday did put out a pretty comprehensive look at JP Morgan.
Yeah.
And some of this was in the public domain already. Julie K. Brown, Miami Herald? Miami Herald had revealed a bunch of this. But when you read through it, you're exactly right. They knew. Like, it was flagged multiple times. They had conversations up to, it sure looks like Jamie Dimon, though he, won't admit it, and, there's no direct record of it. It looks like it from the email traffic, etc. But he was introducing them to all these wealthy men. So Bill Gates is being brought in as a customer. Elon Musk is being introduced to them. Oh, Benjamin Netanyahu is being introduced to them via Jeffrey Epstein. And so they actually said in some of their email traffic, they were like, well, if all these rich and powerful people are still willing to do business with him, like, who are we? Who are we to kick him out? And then the other piece is, one of his main defenders at JP Morgan was this guy, Jess Staley. And Staley is fully implicated. There's some disgusting
Oh my God.
emails that go back and forth between him, Staley, and Epstein, where Staley says, "Oh, I had such a great time. Say hi to Snow White."
Oh God.
And Epstein replies something like, "Glad you had a good time. What character would you like next?" And he says, "Beauty and the Beast." And this is the guy this is New York Times reporting, and it had been reported before. This is the guy who's his protector at JP Morgan.
Good God.
So, yeah, I mean, you see the way the whole thing worked. All the wealthy and powerful men around him serve as validation that, oh, he belongs in these circles because these people will vouch for him.
Yeah.
And then he, who knows what he knew about just Staley. So Staley is not going to be the one to kick him out of the bank because he doesn't want all of his exploits of whatever that is to be revealed. So that's how he ends up, even long after this non-prosecution sweetheart deal that he, where he had to register as a sex offender. And you've got all of these transactions, cash transactions going out to Eastern European girls in the former Soviet bloc. Oh. They know what's going on, but they are just making too much money and to compromise themselves.
That's sex trafficking. That's sex trafficking. That's not just
absolutely.
Like the cover story.
100%.
You know this. The cover story they say is, oh no, Epstein himself was the only creep. He was the perv, and all the sex trafficking was to him.
Yeah, no, he was the only customer of it.
Right.
No, I mean it's clear that the young women were just part of the sort of grist for these billionaires. I mean, there is this argument of should there be billionaires, right? Should billionaires exist?
And I say no.
Well, it's your case, right?
I agree.
Because at a certain point, you have so much money that you're just bored.
Right.
And the things it takes, it's the same way in which we need increasing violence in movies for people to be moved by it, right? You go back and you look at an old movie, like, the Jason movies from like the 90s, people are like, yeah, that's not even scary anymore. Like, you need more blood, you need more violence, you need, and these people are so rich that they cannot entertain themselves with normal pursuits anymore. They get to the point where it's almost impossible to be a moral actor.
Yeah, and it undermines the existence of billionaires undermines democracy. Because when you're wealthy enough, you can just buy the politicians and get them to do your bidding, and now it no longer matters.
Yeah.
If 90% of the country wants this policy or that policy, they don't care.
No.
They don't care.
I think it also makes you a sociopath.
Totally. There's research on that.
There is research on it. And even beyond that, like if you are, Elon Musk is on track to be the world's first trillionaire.
Yeah.
Right. If you have accumulated that much wealth above and beyond everyone else, you have to tell yourself a story about why you're so vastly superior that, you can see people who have nothing and are struggling day to day and that you deserve what you have. And so I think it turns you into a sociopath where you don't see other human beings as
you're just bored.
Right.
And the things it takes, it's the same way in which we need increasing violence in movies for people to be moved by it, right? You go back and you look at an old movie, like, the Jason movies from like the 90s, people are like, yeah, that's not even scary anymore. Like, you need more blood, you need more violence, you need, and these people are so rich that they cannot entertain themselves with normal pursuits anymore. They get to the point where it's almost impossible to be a moral actor.
Yeah, and it undermines the existence of billionaires undermines democracy. Because when you're wealthy enough, you can just buy the politicians and get them to do your bidding, and now it no longer matters.
Yeah.
If 90% of the country wants this policy or that policy, they don't care.
No.
They don't care.
I think it also makes you a sociopath.
Totally. There's research on that.
There is research on it. And even beyond that, like if you are, Elon Musk is on track to be the world's first trillionaire.
Yeah.
Right. If you have accumulated that much wealth above and beyond everyone else, you have to tell yourself a story about why you're so vastly superior that, you can see people who have nothing and are struggling day to day and that you deserve what you have. And so I think it turns you into a sociopath where you don't see other human beings as actual human beings. You see it when when they're interviewing Peter Thiel and they're asking him like, hey, do you think the human race should survive?
Yeah.
And he's hemming and hawing and he doesn't know what to say.
Yeah.
Like that is bubbling to the surface, the way that all of these people think about humanity. And I think that is part of why we have the level of unchecked
Can you please just hear me out? No, all work management platforms are the same. Monday.com is the one you'll actually love to use. Did you see the dashboards? They update in real time from your team's day to day, so you're always in control. No freaking way. I don't have to put the data in myself? Are you for real? Monday.com handles all the boring stuff, so you can focus on what really matters. You know what? I'm ready to fall in love again. Thanks. Talking Llama. Monday.com, the first work platform you'll love to use.
Hi, I'm Brett.
And I'm Jonathan.
This is Darla.
And this is Buddy.
We're the founders of The Farmer's Dog.
We've made an entirely new way to feed your dog.
It all started with my first dog, Jada. I got Jada in my early 20s. It was just love at first sight. She was the most adorable, smart dog, but her stomach was just constantly a problem. Nothing seemed to help her until a vet recommended that I started home cooking for her.
All of her issues went away. Her life changed. So Brett started going down this journey of looking into what is dog food? How is it made?
Kibble can be made with ingredients that would be illegal to sell to a human for consumption, then turned into a powder using extreme heat, extruded into the brown balls we all know, and then sprayed with nutrients and palatants so the dogs will actually eat it.
We were told kibble was the best thing you could feed your dog.
Premium meat for a natural diet.
Turns out it wasn't. We were told all the food was real meat and vegetables. That's also not true.
I think we all know as human beings that eating highly processed food every single meal, every single day of our lives is not ideal for our health. But pet food being highly processed was just the status quo.
So we decided, let's change it. Let's take the decades of pet food research and the understanding of what nutrients dogs need, use that, but avoid the excess processing. I think the question was, how do we make food that's fresh, healthy, and convenient, but do it for every dog across the country? That was like a tough challenge. So we thought we really need to get somebody who knows dog nutrition.
We had watched a seminar with Dr. Wachschlag, and I said to Jonathan, I was like, we need to get a guy like him.
I was like, okay, I'll call him.
To be honest with you, Jonathan called, and then he called again. He just said, you guys have an interesting idea, something that's revolutionary in the dog food world, and if you can pull this off, you'll have a whole new way of feeding dogs.
We ask a few questions about your dog, and we develop a personalized meal plan with the right amount of calories to keep them at a healthy weight. And our customers know that we don't look at them as just a number. We know their name, we know their dog's name, we genuinely care about their dog.
We start with meat and vegetables, gently cook them, and add all the nutrients dogs need for a complete and balanced diet. Every package of food is inspected and goes through a number of different quality controls and tests. And it's all human grade, which means it's made to the same safety standards as human food. Then we put it in a box, add the ice, and deliver it right to your door.
It's all done for you. From the moment you order your first box, you have an advocate for your dog on your side.
It's not about what we do to the food. It's about what we don't do that's creating these incredible health outcomes in so many dogs.
What started with just Jada ended up going from 1 dog to 8 dogs, to then 100 dogs, and now millions.
I just feel so lucky that Jada's legacy gets to live on in Darla and in other households all across the country.
We really believe that everybody wants to take care of their dog in the best way that they can. Our mission is just to help them do that. This is the best. I can't move now.
Barbarism that we see in the world is just allowed to continue because the people who have power don't see other humans as actual humans.
And with that, you have just explained how we wound up with a slave republic in the United States, because the equivalent of billionaires in the 16th or the 17th century were the Thomas Jeffersons of the world. They had so much wealth that, number one, they didn't feel that the king of England or the queen of England should be able to tax them, right? They got to the point where they said, we will blow this whole thing up and mount a revolution to not be taxed for our wealth. And number two, they had to come to see the source of their wealth, which was enslaved people, which was people that they were dragging from another continent to enslave them. They had to in their own mind, find a way to justify treating them this way, breeding them like cow. I mean, that is the innovation. That's their version of tech innovation, right? In the 17th century was to say, we're not going to keep going and getting more slaves. We're just going to breed them like cattle. We'll create chattel slavery. We'll reverse paterfamilias. We'll say, when in Europe, you take on, a child takes on the status of its father, meaning that you could have a bastard of the king. But we're going to flip that in the United States and say we're going to have children take on the status of their mother, so that anytime we rape our enslaved women, the children that are produced are also our property. The perversion, and this is, you know, people get upset, you know, there's the, what is it, Eric Schmitz of the world are like, America's just for white people. We don't want to hear this revised story. But that isn't a revised story. That's the story. These people who so many Americans admire almost had to become sociopaths. They still wanted to go to church every Sunday. They still wanted to be seen as good people, as heroic people, but they were breeding humans in order to create an enslaved workforce. Update that to the tech era, and the Peter Thiels of the world simply want us to all be meat. We're just workforce. And they have to find a way to justify the sort of inhumanity of everyone but them in order to justify what they're doing. It's the same thing.
And now they also want to rewrite the history to completely whitewash it too.
So people won't get it.
Right, and you know, to basically, I mean, if you get rid of the civil rights movement, get rid of the New Deal, like all the good things, they want to get rid of that and just portray it as like Reagan's idea of America is the idea of America, and don't look at anybody else. And Peter Thiel and all the tech guys, like you said, they effectively want us back in a peasant type role. They want to take away all of our money, take away all of our power, make it so we can't own anything. And then they want, like the Curtis Yarvin idea, little corporate fiefdoms, where you have like a tech CEO dictator type person who calls all the shots. And they view Trump as just like a figurehead to getting to Peter Thiel and these tech oligarch billionaires for them to actually take over the country. And of course, J.D. Vance is their handpicked guy who they've groomed literally to lead them.
And Trump is an easy person to, I mean, Trump in many ways is kind of the perfect sort of avatar for this, right? He wants nothing other than to meet his sort of 2-year-old era needs, right? He's like a child. He just has needs, and he wants to be loved, he wants to be worshipped, and he wants to be a billionaire. And through his own sort of means, he can't become a billionaire because he's just not good enough at business. He just, if we're being honest, you know, if you inherit $300 million and then go $900 million in the hole, you just actually are shitty at business. He's a shit businessman who always relied on his inheritance, taking his family members' inheritance, trying to steal it. And since he wasn't good at that, what he's good at is performance. And he's a good performer, and he was good for NBC, and The Apprentice was a hit when they hired him when he was at his brokest. But he makes other Americans feel like they could be him, right? It's like, ooh, I can have a silent European bride, and I can have, you know, and he now is getting to live his bucket list. He's a billionaire. Crypto money. He used to say it was a scam. Now it doesn't. He doesn't think it's a scam. His useless kids are billionaires. Exactly.
They made $3.5 billion in the crypto scam. $3.5 billion, Crystal.
And the reality is, and this is now going to break news, and I would break this news only with you guys. Bernie was right.
Hey guys, we had an awesome conversation with Joy-Ann Reid, formerly of MSNBC. She was let go potentially over Israel and Palestine. We really got deep on all the different issues: Trump, Epstein, Israel, Palestine, new media, old media, and everything in between. So do yourself a favor. You definitely want to see this entire interview. Sign up below on Substack. You don't want to miss it.
Sick of trying to figure out how to hit protein goals? Free high protein breakfast for a year? Yeah, that's real. Every meal's loaded, ready in minutes, and tastes unreal. I don't have to track macros or plan meals. Factor does it all for me. And the breakfast? So good. These pancakes are delicious, and they're packed with protein. More protein, better food, less work. Sign up now and get 50% off your first box, plus free high protein breakfast for a year.
When you need a lift, you could use a big financial friend. Your BFF, Experian. Strong enough to help you push past financial obstacles. So even when you have a big expense, you have new solutions that can make a big difference. Well, you do have that big financial friend, wherever your journey takes you. Experian.
His assassination was the result of the climate of hate. But only I said the chickens came home to roost, and which means the same thing. Climate of hate means that this is the result of something. And when I said chickens coming home to roost, I said the same thing.
September 10th, 2025, while speaking at a university in Utah, Charlie Kirk got clapped. Now you may ask, Antonio, how do you feel about this? And my initial reaction was,
hey, yo, niggas get shot every day, B. You be alright,
maybe I'm just desensitized to murders. I grew up with so many classmates that didn't make it to 21, 25, they never got to experience life. So why should I be over here dwelling about a racist white man who didn't like me, you know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna just give another analogy. Back during slavery, slaves were not supposed to mourn over the slave master. Like, you don't gotta be happy, but to be sad is crazy. Now, a lot of the arguments of people defending Charlie Kirk are stating how, he was just killed over his opinions. These were political views. Political views?
If I see a black pilot, I'm going to be like, boy, I hope he's qualified.
Why did you say that the civil rights bill should be overturned?
I didn't say that. I said it was a mistake.
Why? That's crazy.
Now you gotta figure it out.
I wouldn't be here. That's trouble.
Who's that? If I'm dealing with somebody in customer service who's a moronic black woman, I wonder, is she there because of her excellence, or is she there because of affirmative action? When blacks in America did not have the same rights they had today, they were less murderous, there was less break-ins. Why is that? And the data shows they were actually better in the 1940s. It was bad, it was evil.
Yeah, y'all want me to feel sorry for him? And it's just crazy because the moments leading up to Charlie Kirk's death, it was poetic. I don't mean that in a good way poetically, but Charlie Kirk was asked a question about mass shootings in America.
How many mass shooters there have been in America over the last 10 years?
And he replied with a racist dog whistle comment about gang violence. Seconds after that, he was gone.
Counting or not counting gang violence?
Now, to add icing on the cake, guess who took the life of Charlie Kirk? It wasn't an immigrant, it wasn't a black man, it wasn't a transgender, it was a young white male. But hey, black people are the violent ones. Not to mention that same day, there was a school shooting in Denver, Colorado. And guess who the suspect was? But we the violent ones. Unfortunately, as a young black man living in America, I cannot feel sorry for Charlie Kirk. But there are a lot of people who are crashing out behind him.
I am Charlie, and I will not be silenced, and I will talk until your ears bleed. Okay? I am Charlie Kirk, and I will not be silenced, ever. You will never silence this white girl.
To the left. If it's war you want, it's war you're gonna get. And it's war you're not gonna want in the end.
It's time we rise.
This is such bullshit. I've never been so pissed in my whole life. They just murdered Charlie Kirk right here in Utah. I'm so freaking pissed right now. This is bullshit. I just saw blood squirting out of his neck. I love that guy. He would have been our next president.
Boy, if you don't get... Dog, this is actually sad. The parasocial relationships nowadays is bad. Where was this outrage a couple weeks ago when the kids got killed at a school? Like, what? And to be honest, race aside, Charlie probably would not give a about your kids getting killed in a school shooting. This is what he had to say.
I think it's worth to have a cost of, unfortunately, some gun deaths every single year so that we can have the Second Amendment to protect our other God-given rights.
And another thing, Charlie literally was a fan of the way that he went out.
And this is my other problem with death penalty. It takes too long, too many appeals.
Expensive.
It should be public, it should be quick, it should be televised. By the way, I would totally tune into and you know what? I want to watch that execution. That'll make my day better. I want to see him on a public block and get him be publicly executed. You think children should have you should see it? What is the age? At what age should you start to see public executions?
16.
I think you could do it earlier. I think you maybe at age 12,
whenever
6th grade or so.
And you got some people walking around saying he was the second coming of Jesus. Now I will say this, y'all, just as a human being, seeing that clip of Charlie Kirk on the 10th, bruh, I ain't gonna lie, it ruined my day because I don't feel like the human experience we're supposed to see anyone pass away, especially that violently, you know? From the shot, I knew bro was gone. It wasn't critical condition. No, he was gone after that goddamn shot. And it did something to me. You know, I put myself in the shoes for a moment, race aside, because I am a father. I'm a young father of 3. He is a father too. But like I said, death doesn't excuse you from your actions. And just going through the digital footprint that he left behind, man, I'm not gonna say he was asking for it, but bro, the energy you put out is the energy you receive. Malcolm X broke it down perfectly. And then at first I was like, yeah, man, his kids was there seeing that, and I do feel bad for them. But where was the grace for us? I'm gonna tell y'all a story of what they used to do back in slavery. I know y'all don't want to hear slavery, yada yada, so whatever. I don't care. You gonna hear this. So when slavery really first got started over here, man, like those slaves were so rebellious. Like they used to always, you know, they kept fighting. They had that heart. So what they ended up doing was coming up with a strategy to break the slave and to break them from ever doing it. So they would take the biggest and baddest and like the most problematic slave, right? They would get all the families, kids, children, women, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, no grace for us, right? Gather all of them up. They would grab the slave, right? The first thing they would do is tar and feather him. You know, hot, yeah, that shit, it burns. Next thing they would do, they would grab 2 horses, put the brother up in a tree, set him on fire, have one horse pull a leg this way, have another horse pull a leg that way. Everybody sees that. The mothers, they're going to tell their children, oh, don't be bad, because that's going to happen to you. That's going to happen to you. Children and all. It was no grace for us. And even to bring up the point that Charlie said, yeah, the black people during the 1940s, they were less problematic. Yes, because we would get hanged for simply looking at somebody white. He supposedly whistled at a woman, and bro, like just... I remember seeing the photo of Emmett Till back in the 5th grade, and I literally had nightmares. Like, I know that shit sounds crazy, but like that picture of him is horrific. Like, it's bad. I love Malcolm X so much because he literally has a quote for everything. That brother said, we are non-violent with people who are non-violent with us. In simple terms, we give the same energy back. Y'all want to keep making these black fatigue videos and black people so violent, this and that. I don't care. I'm gonna do the same shit back. I be getting so many comments like of white people saying, bro, you're doing the same thing that they're doing. Like, you're racist, you're this and that. Whenever y'all go under their videos and give them the same energy and tell them to stop, is when I'll stop, bro, because it's literally like a 1v fucking 1,000, bro. Like, it's so many negative black videos. Everybody think we just this and that. Nobody says a thing to them. The moment I do the same thing back, it's a problem with me. And even just with the jokes surrounding Charlie Kirk's death, I don't care for them, because guess what? There are literally whole entire meme pages made up of George Floyd. That man died 5 years ago and people are still bringing him up. He was a father. He had kids. He had a family. Where's the grace for him? But guess what? When it's a white Christian male living in America, the world's golden boy, they want you to feel sad for him. They want you to feel that. Bro, man, fuck out of here. And it just pisses me off. I see so many black people getting online crying about, oh yeah, Charlie Kirk had a family, he had a this and that. Bro, everybody got a family. Everybody got to check out of this place. But guess what? That doesn't excuse you from your fucking actions, bro. Or like a racist person is cool because I understand, like, you don't like me, that's cool. But to see a fucking raccoon, a black person that's so for the white men and not for your, man, oh my God.
If you're not familiar with how all of this did play out, as far as the timeline, we know that Charlie Kirk was speaking. Those are some of the photos there at Utah Valley University. About 3,000 people in attendance as the gunshot was fired. He was rushed over to a hospital afterward, where sadly, we later heard from President Trump that Kirk did pass away. I want to discuss the case in general and what happens next. So let's bring in a friend of the show here. We do have Jillian Snyder, an adjunct lecturer at John Jay College of Criminal Justice and resident senior fellow at the R Street Institute. She is also a retired New York City police officer. Thank you so much, Jillian, for taking the time to join us here.
Good morning, Josh. Thanks for having me.
Good morning. Well, first off, I do want to ask you, because we know that within about 48 hours, we saw this arrest made, the suspect taken into custody after a reward was offered of $100,000. And also you had the videos and photos that were circulated. So based on your experience here, how common is it to see an arrest made in a case of this magnitude here within 48 hours?
As you just said, he was taken into custody within 33 hours, and that's extremely fast by traditional investigatory norms. but it does often happen in high profile cases. And it's because you have so much interagency cooperation. In this case, obviously, we had so much media exposure. And then once the release of the surveillance footage and videos went live, you have millions of people across the country looking into this. And ultimately, a family member, the father, is what we're hearing, recognized the suspect, confronted the suspect, and he was ultimately taken into custody. But again, we all saw the show the first 48 hours. We know that those 2 days are the most impactful for talking to witnesses, getting surveillance, getting victim statements, and collecting forensic evidence.
You mentioned the father. That's, of course, what we did learn about how the arrest itself happened and how he turned himself in. But how common would you say it is for people close to the suspect, especially a family member like a father, to be the ones who are alerting police there after seeing surveillance photos, videos, and saying, that right there is my son?
Honestly, it's one of the more common ways that big cases are cracked, and it did play out in this investigation. So the suspect's father recognized him, as we know, and a family friend reportedly helped get that information to a police. And again, we're hearing that the father urged the suspect to turn himself in. So normally people think it's the anonymous tipster's line, but in reality, it is often people close to the suspect, whether it be a family or a friend or an acquaintance, because they do have that inside information. They would more easily recognize that suspect once the video surveillance or surveillance photos are released online. So it does happen more commonly than most think.
When you're talking about the FBI Director Kash Patel and his comments yesterday, he said 11,000 tips and leads did come in over that 33-hour period there. How does that compare to maybe another case? 11,000 seems like a lot of tips from the public. And also, how do law enforcement officers, investigators there go about combing through those at a quick rate and determining, is this legitimate or is this a false lead?
11,000 tips is a great amount, but one of the contributing factors to that was the sizable reward. You don't often see a $100,000 reward offered that quickly in an investigation. You'll actually see the reward amount increase the longer the investigation is active, more as like an incentive for people to pay attention. So, but when you have thousands of tips, 11,000 in this case,
Have you ever experienced wine as powerful as a Category 8 gill? Equipped with a German-imported brushless motor. Suction power increased by 8 times. One best-selling car vacuum cleaner. 5-in-1 vacuum cleaner. One device. Multiple functions, vacuuming, vacuum compression, blowing, dust and mite removal, and green light detection. Effortless cleaning made easy. Features a German-imported brushless motor delivering 15,000 pi of powerful suction, 8 times stronger than ordinary vacuum cleaners. Linear energy.
And there is one person responsible for what happened here. And that person is now in custody and will be charged soon and will be held accountable.
If you're not familiar with how all of this did play out, as far as the timeline, we know that Charlie Kirk was speaking. Those are some of the photos there at Utah Valley University. About 3,000 people in attendance as the gunshot was fired. He was rushed over to a hospital afterward, where sadly, we later heard from President Trump that Kirk did pass away. I want to discuss the case in general and what happens next. So let's bring in a friend of the show here. We do have Jillian Snyder, an adjunct lecturer at John Jay College of Criminal Justice and resident senior fellow at the R Street Institute. She is also a retired New York City police officer. Thank you so much, Jillian, for taking the time to join us here.
Good morning, Josh. Thanks for having me.
Good morning. Well, first off, I do want to ask you, because we know that within about 48 hours, we saw this arrest made, the suspect taken into custody after a reward was offered of $100,000. And also you had the videos and photos that were circulating.
Well, look at what I found on Twitter. Say something now, MAGA. Say something now, MAGA. Say something now, MAGA. He was a Trump supporter. Shut the fuck up, MAGA.
What a dummy. The shirt's Photoshop.
Yeah. This is the original, and this is the
right. You remember that photo circulating of Trump and his dad? There's in the KKK.
Yeah. I still see that. People still pass it around.
People still pass around like it's real.
Because he's stupid.
You can double check everything on ChatGPT and Grok. Hey, you can ask it, is this picture authentic? They can track down the picture, where it was taken, everything.
Yeah, they'll find the original picture.
Yeah, find the original picture.
If it's been altered.
Yeah. No impulse
major
control.
news, a new uncovered photo of the alleged Charlie Kirk shooter shows him wearing a Trump costume in 2017. This image is going incredibly viral on social media right now, and it's a post from 2017. It reads, "Happy Halloween, so weird."
2017. What year are we in?
It's 2025.
It's 8 years ago? It was so long ago. This kid is out trick-or-treating.
Yeah, talk about missing context.
So he's got his political beliefs already established, and he's trick-or-treating.
Yeah, but if you look at the costume, he's riding Trump like he's a horse.
Yeah.
It was denigrating Trump.
They're
It wasn't
not
a Trump
trick-or-treating with the
costume.
boys this year. Off
Let's
they
see.
go. Hashtag Trump costume. And right there is the alleged suspect.
He's riding him like a horse.
Yeah.
That was the costume.
That's
How's you a MAGA supporter if you got Trump like a horse and you got him pinned between your legs and you riding him like a horse? That makes you a MAGA supporter? Did you do your research, Harry?
Harry, this is the guy that said Joe Biden, there's no cognitive decline. He's sharp as a tack. This is the guy that said that.
Harry's got cognitive decline.
Yeah.
Tyler Robinson. If you zoom in, you can see that his...
Yeah, why is Trump's face green?
Trump is a horse in the costume. He's riding him like he's a horse.
Yeah, see, he got chaps on, huh?
Yeah. He even got the thing around his neck or in his mouth.
Yeah, this dude right here is such a clown.
Yeah, he's just an idiot.
His Halloween costume that year is a Trump costume. Now, this comes after days of people on the right speculating that the shooter must be this crazy liberal with all these insane ideologies, but the alleged shooter is wearing a Trump costume reportedly back in 2017.
What a fool. He said 2017.
Nigga laughing at a fool, laughing at a fool, laughing at some fools. Hey, man. I don't know. Why is this even in my search bar? Hold on. I don't know why I put this in this bracket.
Hi, I'm Mark Elias, a lawyer for the Democrats, and I need your help to join me in standing up against Donald Trump. Look, like you, I'm just one person doing.
Donald Trump thinks sending our National Guard into American cities is an essential part of distracting from the Epstein story. I mean, protecting our nation. This is just another day. Ever since the world got a glimpse of Donald Trump's supposed birthday letter to Jeffrey Epstein, the administration and almost every single Republican have been telling the world they actually didn't glimpse anything.
The president did not write this letter. He did not sign this letter.
And frankly, he doesn't even know what a letter is. As the American people know, throughout Donald Trump's entire life, he has strictly communicated any and all birthday wishes via duck call. But that's just mere talk about the letter. I mean, maybe some people haven't even seen it yet.
Have you seen that letter? I've not, but I would love to see it like matched with his handwriting. Yeah, it just seems really wild. Yeah, I don't want to see it.
It's funny because it's true. Lee pathetic. But I gotta
Head ass. Hey, Brian Thomas. I'll just fuck this whole name up. Brian Tyler Cohen. Boy, the SEO behind you, the way you slick. That BTC, man, he's slick. The SEO on that is
handed to reporters. They've learned to come prepared since Trump's first term, when Republicans in Congress could simply dismiss a piece of horrid Trump material by claiming they'd been living under a rock.
I didn't see it, so I'd have to. I mean, I'm sure that my office will be able to get me a copy of it.
I just saw the tweet, and I know nothing else.
Man. Man, listen, bro. Don't even get me started on my tickets today. Hold up. We gotta take a commercial break, talk about these games. Yeah, man. We're gonna take a commercial break, talk about these games, bro. I'm gonna be honest with you. Today I had a bad day. Man, I'm about to call my tickets out right now. Man, I had a bad day on these bets, boy. I'm telling you. Man, I had a bad day today, but it's all good. I'm locked in for tomorrow. What you talking about? I'm locked in for tomorrow. Man, I had a bad day. Man, hold up. Let me read my shit off, bro. I was so aggravated, man. Look, this is the thing. I try to wake up early. I ain't watching enough film. That's what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna go back to the drawing board. I gotta watch some more film when it comes to the college tip. Man, cause these boys, some of these boys don't be wanting to show up, man. Some of these boys don't be wanting to show up. I'm gonna be honest, bro. Some of these boys don't be wanting to lock in. Coaches don't be wanting to coach. I don't know what's going on. Let me read out some of my tickets, man. Tell you how my heart was broke today. So I had a ticket today. I had an 8-legged parlay today, right? Let me tell you, that bit broke me down. So I had an 8-legged parlay on the Hard Rock, right? This what I'm telling you, right? I'm talking about it broke me down. I was heartbroken. So I'm sitting there. I put Texas Tech on the first half, -10.5. They got to cover the spread, right? I had SMU first half. They got to cover the spread, -14.5. Man, nigga, SMU got their ass whooped. I'm sitting there looking at myself like, bruh. Like, and I should have knew, like, bro, when they played Baylor, like, bro, I should have knew, like, bro, I'm tripping. I'm bugging. But at the same time, like, bro, that's Missouri State, bro. They ain't locking in. They ain't doing nothing. You know what I'm saying? Man, bro, listen, bro, Vino, bro, I was hurt, bro. Man, I was so mad, bro. Cause look, I put USC. Cause sometimes what I be doing, I be getting swift, right? I like to sometimes I put first half spreads. Cause if you go with Hard Rock bets, right? If you go to the let's say you click on hold up, some of these games are already live. You gotta go to a game that ain't live, ain't got some locks on them. They go to the Brown Ravens. See, when you go to some of these games, bro, look, they got the game specials. So I come through, look at the game special, like, man, what they got on the game special? What they got? Total sacks. First half winner. Game winner. See what I'm saying? Hey, man, listen, bro. See, that's easy. A game like the Ravens, man, nigga ass, they gonna lead the whole time. So I don't like the odds for that one. But 13 to score. Come on, gang. 13 to score, win the game. Man, that's a guarantee. I don't know though, cause when them boys get the ball, see what I'm saying? Like, bro, I like these. These is different. That's what I'm saying. I like to check out the games, check out the game specials. Then I come here to the player props. See, the NFL is easy work. You know what I'm saying? NFL, that's when I was hitting on. I jumped on the NFL. That's the only thing I hit on NFL and the NBA. I ain't hit on no college yet. Boy, don't be locking in. What I'm gonna do? Score 2 tubs? No. Any touch? No. Do what I like to see. Look, watch this slick shit. Let me show you how to get swell. You go to some shit like this. Where that be at? Third quarter, anytime touchdown. Ooh. Ooh. See, nigga don't know nothing about that. Man, where that first quarter at? Hold on, bro. See, there, quarters. See, I'm fried. Good gas. Nonetheless, so this one I'm looking at. First quarter. Nah, bro. See, on the phone is different. See, I'm doing too much. See, on the phone is way different. On the phone, bro, ain't even capping, which is way different. I click on player props. I can scroll down and it'll give me options to look at. Man, first, man, these folks tripping. First quarter pass yard. I'm looking at first quarter rush yards, bro. See, they ain't letting me do it. They ain't letting me show it on right here. Hold up. I'm trying to show first quarter rush yards. Oh, there you go. I'm fried. Good gas. All right, bam. First quarter rush yards. Leg. Listen. First quarter rush yards. Leg. Yeah, I'm talking in a bit. I'm just realizing, bro, my screen ain't sharing over there. I'm tripping. Hold up. I know I'm not tripping, bro. Man, I'm tripping. I'm thinking I'm showing shit. See, that's the problem. Good gas. Whole time I'm thinking I got this shit on the screen. It's the Epstein shit. I'm tripping. Man, so look, bro. This the lick right here. First quarter rush yards. That's the lick, bro. Don't tell nobody, bro. That's the lick right there. So look, bam. I don't know if Quinshawn Jenkins gonna play. You feel me? So I don't know too much about the running backs on the Bears. But look, they already know it's so with Derek. They already know that boy gonna get at least 5. But look, check, watch this. Once you go to 9.5 yards first quarter. I like the odds of that. You think Lamar ain't gonna get 10 yards in the first quarter on a run? Come on, gang. Plus 120. Yeah, give me the odds right there. You know what I'm saying? And then this is the thing too. You gotta be tapped in with what they saying online. So I was watching the presser the other day where I think it was Dale Pitt, which he is safety for the Browns. Dale Pitt said Derrick Henry ain't hard to tackle. You feel me? So then the reporter asked Derrick Henry, how do you feel about Dale Pitt saying you're not hard to tackle? And that nigga said, we'll see on Sunday. So, look, bro. With that being said, John Harbaugh, he the type of coach to be like, hey, man, we finna get the ball to Derrick Henry like 15 times in the first half. That's what I'm saying. He the type to give it up like that. So, I'm feeling like Derrick Henry got to have in the first quarter, he might go for 50 first quarter. So I do some shit like soon as he go positive, look, soon as he go positive plus 120, that's over 29.5 right there. So when I get on the phone, I get off of here and I get on the phone, I'm gonna play one like that. I'm gonna read a couple of my picks, but that I can tell you right now, I'm finna throw that on my ticket. First quarter rushes over 30 yards, most definitely. Most definitely. So I got on man, let me tell you about this other one on my college one, bro. I had a 6-leg parlay, broke my heart. Man, I'm telling you, bro, broke my heart. One fucking team, bro. So look, this one was so crazy. I had Ole Miss on the spread, minus 3.5. And they won 41-35. They beat Arkansas 41-35. I had them minus 3.5 on the spread. LSU, I had LSU on the spread minus 4.5 beating Florida. They beat them by 10, so we was smooth right there. I had Tulane outright beating Duke. They beat Duke 34-27, right? I had Arizona State minus 6.5 for the first half spread. They did their thing they were playing Texas State. You feel me? Something smooth like that. Then I had the first half spread on Cal versus Minnesota. I took Cal with the points. They gave me plus 3.5 on Cal with the points. Man, I'm hitting on everything. You know what I missed on? Utah. They first half spread. I had Utah. I had them at -5. I needed them boy to clear 11 points on their first half. They was playing. It was Utah, number 20 Utah versus Wyoming. Tell me why Utah won 31-6, but they scored 28 points in the second half. Man, them boys scored 3 points in the first half, bro. Blew up my whole man, my parlay was smooth. I'm talking about 6-leg parlay today. Smooth. That bill supposed to hit for 630. Man, I was sick. I said, bro, I ain't fucking with this college shit. Man, I ain't fucking with this college shit. Boy, that shit had me. Man, I was mad as a bitch. I said, man, I ain't fucking with this college shit, boy. But I'm lying like fuck because I put like 3 more in. I'm like, man, I'm fuck that. Utah had burnt me early too, boy. I was heated. I tried to come back, right? Tried to come back at the end of the game. I'm like, fuck it, man. I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna do a little play, some baby shit, right? I ain't even gonna go too hard. I'm gonna do like a 3-pick. Let me show you my 3-pick. I was so sick on the 3-pick. So, boom, I do the 3-pick. I'm like, all right, fuck it on the 3-pick. I'm gonna go LSU. I'm always taking LSU over Florida right now. So, boom, I took LSU with the spread. You already know they gave me, it was -4.5. I'm like, man, they gonna do that. Give me him. You feel me? So I took LSU, and then on top of that, I'm looking at it. I'm like, bro, I was watching the game Liberty versus BGSU. So I'm like, bro, they weren't scoring no points. Like they were like 13-10. I'm like, man, them folks ain't getting over 33. Next thing you know, them bitch ass nigga Bowling Green want to keep the ball. I think that's Bowling. Man, them bitch ass nigga want to keep the ball all second half, kicking field goals, getting touchdowns, all kind of goofy shit. So they went over. Man, and then on top of that, my stupid ass, I put Virginia Tech on my ticket. I don't know what I don't know what type of program they running over there, bro. I don't know when. I mean, bro, it's 2025. When have you ever seen Virginia Tech lose to Old Dominion? I'm talking about not even just lose to Old Dominion, bro. 45-26. Like, bro, what you doing? Like, for real, like, bro, what you doing? For real, what you doing? So, needless to say, man, I was sick on my tickets. I played like 8 tickets. I really only had hope on 2. I think 1 was everything hit except for 1. So really, I really only had hope on 1. You know what I'm saying? But Utah fucked me over playing Wyoming. If they ain't do that, bro, I had a nice little $600 day. But I ain't tripping. I'm back at it tomorrow. You see what I'm saying? Back at it tomorrow, no questions. I don't give no fucks. I'm back on them. You feel me? But I mean, like back in with this Trump shit, man. I had to get a little commercial break for the pigs. Oh, matter of fact, hold up. Wait. Before I go there, I forgot to get my pick for tomorrow. I'm only give 1 because I don't want the motherfucker. I don't want that bitch to be rigged, and then I think it's rigged for real. I'm gonna give 1. You feel me? So I got let me show this book how it go. So what I do is I went to the Ravens. I took the Ravens. They gave me the spread back when I took it. They had the Ravens -9.5. I'm taking it on the Browns. After the Bills just came up there and just took their heart. Yeah, I got the Ravens going up and trying to turn up tomorrow. I got Joe Flacco versus old team. So Joe Flacco gonna try to turn up tomorrow, right? So with the fact that Joe Flacco playing against his old team, he gonna try to turn up. The Ravens, they gonna try to turn up because they just lost after putting up 40. So you already know what it is. It's gonna be a big tie game. I got them over 44.5 for sure. So I got the Ravens covering the spread, but I got it over 44.5. I'm thinking something like 31-24. Hold on, is that covering the spread? That ain't covering the spread. I'm thinking something like 31-20. That'll cover the spread. Like a 31-20 game. You know what I'm saying? 31-20. Or like them boys could go all the way there. It could be like a 35-24. No, that wouldn't cover the spread. 35-20. See, that right there, I might have to pull back. So that spread kind of, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of strong. But I got like 4 tickets with that spread. See, now I'm looking at it. Yeah, I'm gonna break this down. I got like 4 tickets with that spread. I'm gonna break them down. At -9.5, she kind of sturdy. So yeah, I'm gonna break her down. I'm gonna move her around. I'm gonna cash this one out right now. We're gonna spin out. We're gonna spin that one. So I'm keeping what I'm gonna do. I'm about to run a ticket live right now. I'm on the phone with it, but I'm talking it through. I'm finna do Lamar Jackson over 199 yards passing. Right? I'm finna do over 199 passing. And I'm finna take Josh Allen over 199 yards passing. Right? The Bills is playing the Jets. So I got Justin Fields. I'm gonna take Justin Fields over 10 yards rushing for the first quarter. For sure. I'm gonna take him over the first quarter for sure. And then I'm gonna do I might do Lamar Jackson over 10 yards first quarter. That's gonna make my shit plus 160 for the Ravens game. I like them odds. Then my odds gonna be plus. Hold up. Let me throw for the Jazz versus the Bengals. I'm gonna throw Travis Etienne because Travis Etienne been balling. Niggas didn't see that boy snap. I'm gonna throw Travis Etienne first quarter rushing yards over 15. That's gonna bring my odds up 16,083. I like the odds right there. I'm gonna lock that in. I like that right there. I like that. But yeah, that's all. I ain't gonna give all my plays up because I feel like I give all my plays up and then they don't hit. I'm gonna call that bitch cap and that they faking. One thing I do know, I know them boy better show up tomorrow. Shit, I'm gonna play one more Epstein clip, and then I'm finna go probably hop on somebody's panel and cut somebody out.
So successful.
Yes, the way Trump looks at it, the press has one job: to forget any bad news that may have occurred and instead highlight the successes in our country. I imagine Donald Trump wonders why, the day after 9/11, the New York Times practically devoted every section to that horrific national tragedy and barely spilled an ounce of ink covering American cyclist Bobby Julich signing a 2-year contract with Deutsche Telekom. That is an actual headline from September 12th, by the way, but I have a feeling Mr. Julich understood why his story didn't land on the front page. Look, whether or not this birthday book features the president's signature, and it 100% does, Trump is accusing the press of doing exactly what he's doing, creating a distraction from something else. You know, it's easy to forget, and that's kind of the whole point, but it was just a couple of months ago that Donald Trump asked this famed question.
Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein?
And to the president's dismay, the answer was a resounding yes. And to make matters worse, Trump had previously decided that for his second term, he was going to lock arms with guys like Kash Patel and Dan Bongino, who had made it their life's work to get to the bottom of who knew what, when about Jeffrey Epstein. Which meant that if they owed people answers, so did the president. So what do you do when your back is against the wall and the whole world refuses to stop asking you about the nature of your relationship to a billionaire pedophile?
We begin in Los Angeles, where unrest and tensions continue. President Trump has now deployed 700 Marines and 2,000 additional National Guard troops to the city.
We have other cities that are very bad. New York has a problem. And then you have, of course, Baltimore and Oakland. We don't even mention that anymore. They're so far gone. We're not going to let it happen. We're not going to lose our cities over this.
That's right. You dip your hands into the government's wallet and send thousands of troops to troubled cities across America. So now when reporters ask whether or not you drew a pair of boobs and some pubic hair in your buddy's birthday card as a way of giving a little nudge, nudge, wink, wink to his proclivity for abusing underage women, you can chastise them for not asking you about all the justice you're raining down on America. And Trump's minions have been more than willing to fall in line with his whole distraction tactic.
Look what we've done right here in D.C. President Trump has cleaned up D.C. We were with the mayor tonight. We were with the police chief tonight. We are working hand in hand with D.C. to make D.C. safe again. Chicago should be begging Donald Trump for help to keep Chicago safe. Yet they aren't. So we're going to go into a city who wants us there.
Is Pam Bondi trying to make Chicago jealous? If Chicago thinks we're just going to sit idly by the phone and wait for them to call, they are sorely mistaken. There are plenty of cities out here begging us to occupy them and establish a police state. And when Chi-Town wakes up and comes crawling back to us asking for unnecessary federal intervention, which they most definitely will, it'll be too little, too late. And one of the saddest aspects of Democrats refusing to help Trump's very generous help is...
So it's official. The legislature just called a special election November 4th, Proposition 50, the Election Rigging Response Act, responding to what just happened in Texas. Donald Trump and Greg Abbott trying to rig the 2026 congressional elections before even one vote is cast. They also just announced they're going to invest
is the hypocrisy.
I didn't hear any problems from Washington, D.C. residents or my colleagues on the other side of the aisle when 20,000 National Guards came in and surrounded the Capitol building and prohibited your First Amendment rights to petition your government with your grievances. I didn't see an uprising there. We weren't happy about the fences and the hundreds of miles of barbed wire surrounding our nation's capital and armed National Guard.
That's right. Lauren Boebert wasn't happy about having some ridiculous military presence at the Capitol that precluded more patriots from scaling the walls, breaking the windows, and defecating on people's desks. But she came to accept it. She came to accept the fact that as an American, but more importantly as a federal elected official, there isn't some official rule book or set of laws that dictates what's allowed and not allowed in our country. So Democrats need to get on board and accept that too. I know it may have become a common refrain for Republicans to prop up those who storm the Capitol as American heroes, but it's always shocking to watch. Honestly, I haven't seen Lauren Boebert work this hard to get people off since she attended Beetlejuice the musical. Yes, the distraction machine has taken such a hold of members of Congress that things have been getting a little testy over at the Capitol. Like when Democratic Representative Maxwell Frost took issue with Republican Representative Clay Higgins' stance that he's a constitutionalist and a states' rights man, just not for all states.
You're here because you're lapdogs to the President of the United States, who during the election last year, we said time and time again, I reclaim my time.
Down, Mr. Chairman.
All right, hold on.
My colleague just called me a lapdog for the President of the United States. I move for his words to be taken down.
A second.
We'll stand in recess for a second here. We will suspend to see about taking the words down.
Yes, if you're wondering what the inner workings of the legislative process look like, we just got a sneak peek. Was it a healthy debate about whether the President of the United States is acting within his authority when he sends the National Guard to infiltrate cities and states around the country? Not exactly. Mainly it was just calling a timeout while the intern checks the rule book to see if the phrase lapdog is a permissible roast. The reality is, Donald Trump is willing to do anything to deny, distract, and deflect from the fact that he is tied to Jeffrey Epstein in countless incriminating ways. But he must be thrilled to know that he has loyal sycophants who are happy to do whatever he asks to help him in his denial, distraction, and deflection efforts. I just hate to be the bearer of bad news, because no matter what he does, until all the information comes out, he is still going to be asking the same question.
Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein?
We sure are.
Yeah, on that note, man, I'm finna slide. Either I'm finna hit somebody's panel or I'm finna start listening to instrumentals. Gonna make me a motherfucking record. I'm probably finna start listening to instrumentals, honestly. So yeah, man. Y'all stay swift, man. Gotta stay swift.